Good afternoon and welcome to the Bond University QAFLW. It is round 11. We are here live from Zups Aspley Oval on Graham Road, and we are about to watch the Aspley Hornets in third place on the ladder take on the Maroochydore Roos, who sit in sixth position. Zups Aspley Oval about to host its first Bond University QAFLW match of the round, live stream in 2023 on Saturday afternoon against a rejuvenated Maroochydore in the battle of the competition's two most northern clubs. My name's Hannah Davies, I'm your host today, and it's a very warm welcome to Daniel Vales, our lead caller. And also, just a quick mention that any of the stats you hear today, of which there will be plenty, are all gathered by Daniel himself. So Daniel, in this game, it's setting up to be a huge one, and it's also going to shape pretty intensely the final four that we see in a few weeks' time. Tell me why that is.
Yeah, look, thank you, Hannah. It is a very warm afternoon, and thank you for making sure that everyone stays away from me at parties. I really appreciate that. But essentially, Aspley are now cemented really as one of the top three clubs in this competition. So Southport, to whom they lost last week, they've shown that they're number one. They will probably go on to win the minor premiership. Having said that, fascinating game starting at 3 o'clock, which is being live streamed against Bond University, who are currently in second. But at the other end of the table, Maroochydore, they are not out of the running yet. And historically, Maroochydore has the wood on Aspley. Aspley's won the last 2 games against Maroochydore, but before that, Maroochydore won the first 7. So this Maroochydore, it's a bit of a last chance saloon for them. They've really got to start winning from here on in. But for Aspley, if they want to get that double chance in the final, finishing in the top 2, this is the kind of game that they need to just say, right, let's get the 4 points done, we're out of here.
Certainly is big, and coming into this game, Aspley's run of 5 wins on the trot was ended last round by the competition heavyweight Southport Sharks, where that began as a close encounter, but it didn't end as close, 27-38. And then up the highway, the Maroochydore Roos broke a losing streak of the same length with a win over Yeronga, coming back from a slow start to win 28-17. So, like you said, both teams today, this game, you know, round 11, it doesn't feel as big as it probably will be when it comes to finals time.
Well, I think it's our job to make it big, really, so because we know it's big. We're here, and as you mentioned in the intro, it's so good to be here at Zups Aspley Oval. We've had a men's game here this year, or should I say, you, Hannah, have had a men's game here this year, and the reigning premiers in the men's. The Aspley women's program, they've never made the finals. They are now looking good to make it, and possibly even finish top 2 as well. The side this year, they will play some wonderful football. Probably no side in the competition, even including Southport, finishes as well as Aspley. Their work in front of goal can be quite clinical, as we saw a couple of weeks ago down at Wilston Grange. But Maroochydore last week, they've got that winning feeling back with the win, albeit over the bottom side Yeronga. But some of their play, I mean, the goal that Demi Norton scored in the second quarter with Indy Williams making a massive break out of defence was glorious to watch, and I firmly believe that the Roos are capable of that kind of play against a top side.
Well, head-to-head history certainly agrees with you, Daniel, because they've played 9 games, 7 of which Maroochydore have won, only 2 of which Aspley have won. Head-to-head here at Zups Aspley Oval, they've played 4, Maroochydore again won 3, Aspley have won 1 of them. But the last time they met was back in round 4 in May, where Aspley defeated Maroochydore 55-12 up the highway again at Maroochidore's home base. So, as well as that, there's a few special occasions we want to mention today, the biggest of which comes in Aspley's Morgan Lanigan, number 10, who has played 10 times that amount of games at this club, 100 matches for Aspley, 58 of those which have been in the QAFLW first grade, which is just a sensational achievement for the club, for Morgan, but also the competition. Having players that have been with clubs that long is pretty special.
And there's so much to like about Morgan Lanigan individually. I mean, the Aspley program we'll talk about throughout the day, just how much it's grown. A big part of that has been Morgan Lanigan. I started commentating this comp 2 years ago. I think the first game I commentated here, Lanigan was playing in defence, or named in defence. Then in the second quarter, I saw her pop up on the ball. Then I saw her at half forward, and she just looked at home. every single place she popped up on the field. And even in the one play, she would just suddenly, it was almost like she dissolved her atoms in one part of the field and just reappeared in another. So I've been a big fan of her ever since. And she's someone, look, she's probably not someone who harbours AFLW ambitions, but I don't care. This is a competition that matters, and I love seeing stalwarts really like Morgan Lanigan pepper this competition and make it so much richer for her presence. So big congratulations from both of us really to Morgan Lanigan.
We got to see her run out before with the banner, which was very special as well, and great timing that we've got this match of the round for the 100 games. A couple of other special mentions today. Daniel, you're all across the birthdays. Talk me through who we won't be singing happy birthday to, but in spirit we will.
Oh dear, so no, we won't sing to them, but I did freak them out before the game by knowing their birthdays. So firstly, one that happened during the week, number 22, Holly O'Flaherty. It's her first year at Aspley, coming from Wollston Grange last year. She turned 19 last Tuesday. She spent a fair bit of time with the Lions Academy, a left footer, gives the team some natural width. Wonderful player. Happy birthday to Holly for earlier in the week. On Monday, the co-captain of this club, another stalwart who's already played her 100 games in the QAFLW, not all for Aspley, Courtney Daniels, the co-captain. She turns 27 on Monday, and I won't go overboard about her now because I tend to do that during the call as a rule. But today, a player who missed last year with injury has come back this year, and I think I love seeing her long raking passes out of midfield, and I love seeing her try to shoot for goal from 50. I had a dream last night she got a set shot from 60 today. Lucia Liesi, number 12, a massive presence in spirit as well as just physical size in the midfield. 20 today. Happy birthday, Luch. It is so wonderful to see you back on the park in the Bond University QAFLW.
So big happy birthday to all those players there. And of course today is the second ever North Queensland versus South Queensland representative match that we played in Cairns. In last year's inaugural match, North Queensland won, and best on ground was Holly Murfield, who then was playing for the University Hawks at Townsville, and now she's playing full forward for Aspley. And before that, represented the Suns in the 2020 AFLW Winter Series. Another in and out movement, I should say, is that Michaela Martin, number 30 for Aspley, actually won Maroochydores Best and Fairest in 2022 before moving to Aspley in 2023. So that lineup there, that matchup between her old side and her new club, who are looking to make finals, that's going to be heated.
And I have a feeling that Michaela still lives on the Sunshine Coast as well, so she probably drives past her teammates or former teammates on the way to footy trading each week. So, but no, lots of wonderful matchups here. There's no bad blood there, but I think Michaela Martin is someone who will be very important for winning the ball and then distributing the ball in the middle of the field. Probably there's so much talent with this Aspley side. I do wonder, and it probably won't be shown up today against Maroochydore, but I do think that against some of the stronger sides, just their ability to win the ball in the middle of the field will be interesting.
And over in the Roots camp, we have a couple of notable things happening too. Obviously, 16-year-old Lataya DePoe makes her debut, and she hasn't even played reserve grade before. Talk me through that, Daniel.
First senior game today, played a lot of games for the Lions Academy. Big talent. We are underway at Zups Aspley Oval, first time in 2023 on the Bond University QAFLW match of the round. The ball has barely cleared the centre circle, and the umpire, Sam Ward, will have a second go at that. A nice curving basketball background, working well in the ruck. Jamie Bryant caught with the ball, and Maroochydore, through Jaya Epstein returning this week, will be able to play it out of the centre. She comes to the right. Jessie Sills, fumbling around, has Emma Pittman in front of her, and Pittman waited till she got possession and wins the free kick. Pittman goes centrally. They do love that 45-degree kick inside. Finds Vetter. Goes right. Inside 50, finds Murfield. Murfield looking for a target. There's usually a few. Louise Tyson was there about half an hour before the defence. She'll have a set shot at right half forward.
Only been a minute and already Aspley having what looks to be a set at goal. That is a quick start.
Louise Tyson pretty good on the set shot. Didn't quite get all of that and misses to the right.
Well, it's an unlucky miss, but pretty good things so far from Aspley. I mean, the direct passage of play kind of looks like they caught the Roos off guard a little bit.
I was about to say during the intro, may just be having a couple of sound problems if we, as the ball gets caught in the net. Apologies for the interruption transmission there, but we should be okay. As Maroochydore play out from the back, once Aspley can win the ball in midfield, they usually don't have a problem moving it out of there. Good work by Indiana Williams on the far side, 58 for Maroochydore. Lovely step. Might have been David over in the back pocket. Pengelly in the headgear drops it. Morgan Lanigan, 100 games today, just in case we haven't mentioned it enough. Ball up on centre wing. Taken by Arnica Williams in 21. Aspley working back through Van der Weel. Pumped forward from Martin, found the captain Daniels. Happy birthday on Tuesday, haven't mentioned that enough. Lovely work from Stallard, that is very much a netballer's mark. Stallard about 70 from goal, pumps it forward, just seems to be landing in between targets. Fell over the back to Tyson, she will snap. Misses to the right. She's consistent.
Yeah, look, another miss, but what I'm loving from Aspley so far is, I guess, their bravery to just use that middle channel. I mean, it's probably the most dangerous route to goal, but when you can evade your player, it's also the quickest. So it really just shows you how early. I mean, that's the second attempt on goal already. How big this Aspley team are going to play today.
There's a nice curve and just shepherded that to no one. And then got knocked away to an opponent's, as I believe that's David. Actually, it might be Sophie Peters, apologies. More on Peters in a moment, because both she and Rania Crozer have had pretty big weeks. Renee Tees, nice flick pass just into the contest. At the back, Pengelly was looking for it. Michaela Martin brought to ground underneath by Hurley.
Feels like there's a lot of support around that ball, but perhaps not on that second phase for the Roos. And you can see it here.
Out the side to Lily Baker. Brilliant last week in the win over Yeronga. Plays in the ruck, and she'll have a good battle with an nice curve in today. Indiana Williams past Van der Weel. Fumbled it 3 times. Van der Weel was calling for deliberate. That's wrong. It was just fumbling. And I think it's our effects mic that's cutting in and out rather than ours, Hannah. So
yes,
that'll be...
we do apologise for any sound issues you may be having. And just quickly as well, our umpiring team today, of course, brought to you by Bradham's Windows and Doors. That's out on the field. Sam Ward, number 22, with Stephanie Carter.
Lanigan marks. Umpires. Plays inside to Pengelly. We'll just wait for the next break because we do love our umpires. Good intercept effort from Naomi Fitzpatrick. Played with Michaela Martin at UQ. That's hacked around the corner inside. Working hard was Pittman. Equally working hard was Epstein. She's able to get the ball, and Maroochydore looking for their first inside 50. Renee Tees had a horrible bounce. Van der Weel will get there before her. Lanigan in support. Handball over the top finds Van der Weel. Lanigan on her way to 100 possessions today. Good mark on the run from Murfield, coming very deep on the lead. Murfield keeps it wide. It's going to go over the head of Brennan. Crozier. Crozier inside, looking for Brennan again. Brennan just probably got a touch from behind, but nothing illegal. 2-on-1 to Aspley in the contest. Martin under pressure from David. Back inside to Murfield. Murfield will pump it towards the goal square. Fitzpatrick guarding it. It'll go the wrong side of the behind post for no score.
Take a look at Holly O'Flaherty, though, because she is pretty much just alone there inside that 50. There is no one that's really game enough to kind of tag her at the moment.
So Maroochydore looking to guard space more than players at the moment. So it fell nicely to David. She's able to pump it wide. The mark just dropped inside by... That was Van der Weel. Pumped back in towards the 50. Flying effort from Baker over the top. David had it sharked from her by Crozier. David again found Norton. Norton, the contact looked a little high from Martin, but slid down very quickly. Umpire made the correct decision to play on. Falls loose. The umpires are letting it go. I like that general philosophy. As Baker cleared it, it'll land inside. Beautiful backspin if that's what she meant.
As we just wait for that, I'll just touch on our other umpires on the boundary, Lachlan Stewart and Andrew Barnes, and in the goal, Kane Johnson and Bailey Johnson.
Go to umpire.afl if you want to get involved in umpiring, as the tap will be cleaned up by David. Played midfield last week, clears to Tyson. Not called 15, or called not 15. Tyson did well to dispose. Van der Weel has Tyson back inside. Check side from Van der Weel. Just getting underneath it and dropping the mark. Was Aspley. Martin back. Murfield thumps it from out of the contest. It's across the face, and that'll be shepherded through by O'Grady. No, it won't. Stallard. Stallard sneaks a goal. Opportunistic play. O'Grady was just waiting for that. Well, probably a bit unfair. She copped a horrible bounce at the end, but Stallard was awake to it. She reacted more quickly, and she scores some wonderfully spectacular goals, Stallard. But if you're a full forward, they can't all be pretty. Sometimes you've got to do that.
Well, I don't know. It wasn't pretty, but it was certainly exciting, wasn't it? Sort of sidestepped her opponent and just charged towards the post, didn't she?
If you want a fair contest, go play a game with a round ball, like, football or Gaelic football. But, Australian football, you have that random element.
Let's not start that debate quite yet.
Oh, no, I love all the codes of football for different reasons. I'm not a one-code supremacist or anything like that. As Indiana Williams got it out of the middle, fell towards Dakota Hooper back in the side this week. Indiana Williams following up. Two unrelated Williams in the Maroochydore side. Norton had pressure from Pengelly, was able to beat her. Inside 50, looking for tees. Just went over the head of Depot on debut. Liesi inside, happy birthday. Cleared by Guitartis, not happy birthday. That's November. Bryant on the far side. Wrestling with Indiana Williams, does well. And Bryant, the former Northern Territory rep, now a Queensland rep, sees it over the boundary. Third year in Queensland for Jamie Bryant, 2 years with UQ. But before that, product of Catherine in the Northern Territory.
Quite a few of that UQ side have moved over to Aspley this year. Feels somewhat familiar, doesn't it, this side?
Indeed. See more players here is David, rushing back behind Murfield. Tried to get support from Poppy Tyndall, who recovered well. She got an accidental trip. Ended up getting her hands around the ball, and that's an important stoppage caused by the young Maroochydore defender. But Aspley dominating territory in this first quarter. Maroochydore just with one significant inside 50, maybe one more shallow entry, but they'll get out of trouble here. As the handball from Peters went into space. Pickpocketed. Martin benefits. Martin shoots from a fair way out. We'll get a minus score. Of course, Michaela Martin, before she played for Maroochydore last year, was part of UQ's 2021 side. So there's very much a sense of... I spoke to some Aspley players over the off-season. They said, yeah, we're getting the band back together.
Just in new colours.
Moving from maroon and light blue to the gelato-coloured stripes of the Aspley Hornets. Crozier steps inside. That was beautiful work. Liesi, 50 out. Handball's back. Found the run of Pengelly. Pengelly looking for her forwards. Tyndall getting in front of Brennan. Important work from Poppy Tyndall. Murfield trying to get a leg free. This will need a roll on. Bounced the wrong way for Stallard to get a second. Nearly falls to Daniels. Pressure on her coming from O'Grady. They just can't get the 2 metres of space they need to have a shot as Martin was held up with it. Sorry, read the 30 as a 20. Another ball up for Aspley. Still inside the 50. Martin snaps. That'll miss to the left. Stays in, though. Not the first time that's happened in this quarter. Rushed through for a behind. Another minus score. And Aspley more protecting space rather than marking up. As it falls to Bryant. She read it well. They had the numbers at the contest, beautifully pickpocketed by Depot.
I don't mind that tactic at all, though, particularly in a game like this. It feels like the Roos passing is just a little bit off. And so, you know, marking space is probably quite smart.
Indeed, as DePoe shows her physical strength, only 16 years old, but plenty of muscle on her. Pengelly back towards the 50. Over the head of Tees is Liesi. Here we go. 45 metres out. It needs her best kick, but the point is her best kick is an utter thump. Just missed one from this distance last week. Goes for a shorter option because she saw wide Stallard. Was well cut off. That was Baker at the back. The numbers at the contest favour Aspley, and they cause a boundary throw-in. In fact, it'll be a ball-up correction. Steph Carter hoists it. Lily Baker gets first hands to it. Jessie Sills left it for David. That goes out on the full. The radar was off.
Interesting matchup between these two sides where Aspley tend to start really strong and the Roos tend to take that first quarter to kind of warm into things.
It's probably the opposite in the first half of the season, but it certainly turned out the way you've just said. The big women fly. Vetter on the ground. For once in her life, fails to get hands to the ball straight away. She's dragged towards goal. It was almost a pushover try. Yes, I know what sport we're playing. It's all right.
We've already mentioned other football codes. Why not add another one?
Lots of love. Vetter sneaking through the pack. That's a beautiful take on the goal line from Jaya Epstein. Named as a winger, but she will pop up everywhere. The ball just missed everyone. I think she thought she had a call from a teammate to run onto that pass and ended up going out on the full, which means Aspley, through Liesi again, on a horrible angle for a right footer, has a goal scoring opportunity. It's your birthday, Luch. Have a crack. Heads centrally. Clears everyone, hit the post. I just went looking for number 20 on my team sheet. She's turning 20. She's number 12. Beautiful work by Stallard. In towards the hot spot. The defence of Aspley's good enough. Lanigan nearly had it. Sorry, that was Brennan. And pickpocketed by Tyndall. Charged down by Murfield. Was helped out by Baker. Goes wide towards Sills. Sills heading wide. Was looking for the run of Hyde. She got a fist to it. Too many Roos there. Sorry, too many Hornets there. But the one Roo working extra hard was Tees. Back behind Pengelly. Pengelly got away from the hands behind her, belonging to Hayley Edgar. Wrapped up between square and arc. Ball up for Sam Ward. Tyson returns to the field. Curvin knocked it to Roberts. Roberts took on 3 tacklers and was nearly got through. I realise she's given away a free kick, but I'd still be proud of that. Baker just got the kick away under pressure. Tyson looking for it. Hydes did well and then regathered. Superb second effort from Kaya Hydes. Bounces over the top of Martin. DePoe runs onto it. DePoe, she knew what she wanted, only found Thompson, and it's all chocolate and lemon around her. Tyson goes wide, finds Liesi. Horrible bounce over the top of Sophie Peters. First game for Aspley for Maroochydore this year, and she's already played 1 game for Australia. That was with Running Crozier last week. Finds Hydes, was wrapped up immediately by Pengelly. DePoe, she's getting her hands on the ball quite a lot early. Hydes just got rid of it in time. Peters through the middle. Now they're inside 50 Maroochydore. Lanigan sweeps. Good work, 100th game, you know. Working out through Vanderveel. Lanigan again. Good work in front of the contest. O'Flaherty, lovely turn, unlucky slip. Tried to get away from Logan, didn't quite work. Tyson, look at the handballs, it's just beautiful. Vanderweel inside. Bypassed Curb and went through to Roberts. Finally turns it over to Hydes. Maybe it was too pretty, but I loved it. Lingard kicked it into Norton. The handball just goes over the head of Epstein. Norton following up with the second effort. Tyson with the pressure. Tyson working well, created a 3-on-none. Pengelly was looking for Vanderweel. Norton got there first. Hurley was in support for that whole play. Around the corner from Hooper. This will just go inside 50. Inside well from Baker. She's made some really good metres. Maroochydore have a chance here. They've got space from broken play. Went from Norton looking for tees out wide. The 2-on-1 created by Peters. Peters could score from this. Unfortunately, she ran into traffic, unfortunately for the Roos. They were clear through Curvin, looking for Brennan, who's come very deep. She's brought to ground straight away. Handball over the head. I like it. Inside again. O'Grady working well. Feeds Indiana Williams. Indiana inside 50. That's a beautiful, beautiful mark from Lily Baker.
Well, it certainly wasn't pretty to get there, but it's a huge credit to the relentlessness of the Roos because they didn't give up once in that passage.
Lily Baker got some distance on her kick. It will go to the right. However, inadvertently kept in. Thompson maybe got a bit of high contact. Is able to get out. Hides has kicked it straight. Kaya Hides has a goal.
The amount of times, Daniel, I didn't think that was going to happen. But like I said before, the relentlessness of the Roos to just keep on going and going. I mean, I'm pretty impressed. I think they'd say themselves the accuracy hasn't quite been on in this first quarter, but what has been is the work rate.
Couldn't agree more, Hannah Davies. And the belief as well. You look at the table positions, and I mean, you look at the teams on paper and you go, sometimes as an opposition, you look at them and go, oh, they're a good player, they're a good player. No intimidation at all. They are taking them on. And to be fair, I mean, in a team with people like Sophie Peters, Demi Norton, Lily Baker, I mean, there's a whole generation of young stars there. They deserve to not be intimidated. Katatis, part of the previous generation of young stars. That's a beautiful drop punt inside 50. Over the head of Fitzpatrick, working hard was Crozier. Round the side went Holly O'Flaherty. Inside to Crozier. Crozier on an angle. Crozier's got a goal. What a response from the Hornets. Check side from the left side from Rania Crozier. Highlight reel. Go.
What a quick response from the Hornets. Anything you can do, we can do better and quicker. And that's just probably been the difference so far in this match is the speed of Aspley and how quickly they can get it down there and in front of post.
That wasn't even in front of post. And I mean, maybe one thing that Crozier, this is so picky, maybe she needs to develop a bit more of a left foot kick. But when you've got a right foot like that, if you're watching this online, hit the left side of your YouTube screen twice and you can go back 10 seconds. Maybe during the quarter time break, have a look at it just to see what direction she was facing when she kicked that. Because I have a feeling she was facing away from the goal and then got it with the outside of the boot. As Bryant looks wide for Van der Weel. She'll pump it. Not a lot of time to go in this first quarter. As Maroochydore just need to hold their nerve. Liesi over the top. Fitzpatrick going back. The tackle came in from Brennan. Done a lot of good things off the ball today so far, Brennan. She hasn't had a chance on the ball to show her wares, but again, doesn't always have to be pretty from any of these Aspley forwards. Tees has moved into the ruck. Hurley just dropped out of her possession. Liesi has a left foot kick. She goes in towards centre half forward. Goes past O'Flaherty. Handball went to Daniek in the end. Tyson, jinx once, jinx twice. That's a brilliant tackle from Logan.
Some great defensive work from the Roos. This has been where they've struggled though so far, is getting it out of this danger zone. As you'll see there, Aspley's defence from their forwards has just been phenomenal.
That was Holly O'Flaherty on that occasion who caused the error because Demi Norton looked all over that. Quarter time at Zups Aspley Oval. It's been a fascinating quarter.
Sure has. The home side lead 17-6, and we'll be back after a short break.
from wide. They can't keep going from wide. Forwards, this, and everyone else, remember this quarter. We're kicking with the wind up top. The ball's going to travel that little bit longer. Kick it, okay? Stay in front, push off. Make sure that you've got body on ball. Bring it to ground, give everyone else a chance. Bring it top. We're in this game. Okay? We're tackling in our pressure. Let's ramp it up this quarter. Come on, let's go.
Not that one.
Welcome back to the Bond University QAFLW. It is round 11 and the Aspley Hornets are hosting the Maroochydore Roos and currently leading 2-5-17 to 1-0-6. 3 goals scored in that first term, and one that probably deserves special mention was in the 18th minute to Crozier. And Daniel, please run me through that one.
Well, first of all, Aspley had just conceded to Kai Hydes a minute before that. They ran it out the left. Crozier handled twice. Again, I think she might have been facing a bit to the left, but kicked it with the outside of the right foot, check side as we call it in footy, and yeah, put it through. Nice high kick. There's a reason you get picked to go to the AFL Academy for those sorts of things.
Pretty special.
So second quarter action, as it's Peters, the other Australian rep on the field. Good punch at the back. That came from, might have been Pittman. There's an air swing in the middle of the field. I always find that kind of football relatable, as Michaela Martin makes up for the error previously. In fact, that was Martin. Out of the middle, Aspley won't get the first inside 50 yet. Good pressure from, that was O'Grady. Captain today, we haven't mentioned, in the absence of Kelsey Sills. Beautiful run by Peters through the middle. Appealed for free kick holding off the ball. Goes through to birthday girl Liesi. Crozier went for the leap. Wouldn't have been a mark because Fitzpatrick got the fist to it from behind. Plays outside just behind Pengelly. And that'll be out on the full because the pressure came in from Indiana Williams.
So we were able to have a bit of a listen in to the Roos coaching staff at the quarter break, and overall seemed pretty happy with that first quarter, but they did mention how important this second quarter is in terms of going with the wind.
There is a right to left breeze as you see it on your screen as Liesi just falls through her fingers. Baker goes wide. Pengelly had pressure from Tees. Liesi on the ground again. The work from Van der Weel at the bottom of the contest. Tees wraps up Pengelly. Continue.
Yeah, he was just talking about how important this second quarter is for the Roos to get back in it. But overall, he was pretty happy. I think for me personally, though, the second kind of phase for the Roos could have a bit of work. You know, it's this one here. They're getting to the ball great, and then just having that person to back them up. As we'll see a free kick the way of the Hornets.
As Emma Pittman will go centrally towards Bryant. Good pressure from Epstein on the kick. Her kick in turn had pressure towards Lingard. Every possession has pressure. We saw Jessie Sills there. Lanigan, she's flattened. Happy hundredth. The Morgan Tenery, as we like to call it, as the free kick will go the way of Lucy Pengelly in the Aspley defence. Again, that wasn't malice. Well, intercepted by Tees. Played in pretty much all the key position roles this year, Renee Tees. Knew where she was kicking it. Lingard just through the hands. Jessie Sills putting pressure on her. Lingard semi-clears. Hit Norton in the toe. Baker working hard. Diving effort from Jamie Bryant. That's the commitment she likes to show. Got the second effort. And then equally on the ground, that might have been Tara Muir, who just pulled it out of the hands and made sure the disposal was of no great effect. Norton did well. Vetter gets on top of, might have been Muir again. Van der Weel plays wide. Aspley had a little bit of space. That's going to fall to Danietz. Danietz thumps it inside. One-on-one battle. Bounces behind Fitzpatrick. Stallard will get through to it, looking for space. Can't get it. May fall, kindly. Fitzpatrick drops it in defence. Went to Vetter and then suddenly stopped. Gave O'Grady a chance, which she took. Roos have the numbers. David clears. The persistence from Maroochydore was excellent. And that's not to downplay the persistence and attack from the Hornets. Pittman inside to Liesi. Liesi Goes vertically, looking for Stallard, possibly Murfield. Went over the top of her. O'Grady through the hands. Falls to Daniels. Round the corner. Vetter with an opportunity. She might need to go check side. Was pulled off it beautifully in defence. Superb work at the back from Fitzpatrick. Only clears as far as Liesi. Liesi inside. Rewind. Crozier got in the way of Vetter. Vetter got it to Martin. Looking for Daniels. Daniels will need to snap quickly. She's been around a long time. She knows what to do in that situation.
So 2 in a row now for the Aspley Hornets as they take this margin a little bit further. 23-6 now and still 15 minutes to play. The Roos will be searching for something here to stay in this contest.
The big effect that the Brisbane Lions AFLW Premiership team had on women's football was making sure that your forwards become defenders as soon as you lose the ball. The cry of lock it in goes around footy clubs all around Australia now, and it's largely because of the Lions, to some degree the Melbourne Demons, but I think we can take credit for that up here.
Certainly. I mean, you saw Lucia Liesi go straight into that defensive mode after the opportunity went missing. Won the ball back. Not long after that, a goal.
Comes back to Baker as Maroochydore controlled possession well. Arnica Williams looked for the bounce. Went inside to Hurley. Depoe just had it knocked past her, but Hurley regains possession. Multiple effort. Ran into the Morgan Tenery. Martin. Over the top looking for O'Flaherty. Hooper putting pressure. Back to Sills. Sills lost it in the tackle, but I think that was appropriate umpiring. Daniels, the goal scorer. Happy birthday for later in the week. That's Monday. Pengelly. Well read by Brennan. Brennan turns her defender beautifully. She's a fair way out. Stallard looking for it. It's going to go over her head. Needs a good bounce. On the boot. Stallard scores.
She did so well to keep that from going over the line and putting it in her hand. I kind of wondered if she'd just hoped that it would bounce in, but great work to just trust herself that she could put it in even better.
Not quite the same as the winning goal in last year's grand final, as we have a player being brought, that might be Jamie Bryant, just being brought off the field at the moment. Yeah, that is Bryant. We saw her attacking the ball hard in the contest twice before, so hopefully she's okay. For now, for an Aspley perspective, but also from a Queensland perspective.
Yeah, of course, there is a competition by next week for that Queensland-Tasmania clash. Plenty of women in this comp, on the field right now playing in that competition.
Sills kicks through, spill off the ball. Pengelly. We had some Maroochydore got it forward initially. Katata's just dropped it cold, but recovered very well. Looking for Martin. Baker got in the way. Hurley. She's done a lot of good. Oh, lovely step inside from Peters. In towards the front 50. Over the back. Thompson used her body well to get around Edgar. Thompson will clear down this western side to Vanderweel. Vanderweel, little chip. Finds Crozier behind Fitzpatrick. Has Stallard in front of her. Tried to pick it up one-handed. You're not at Marvel Stadium now, Rania. Come on. Stallard.
And look at the support from Aspley. They've got someone at every corner, just constantly ready. Here again, 2-3 at the ball. But also from the Roos.
Let's just praise that tackle from Hannah Brennan, because it looked like they were going to get away through Ebony Otto, and Hannah Brennan brought her down. But your overall point was absolutely correct, Hannah Davies. Brennan up towards centre half forward. Nearly came over the back to Murfield, but now able to run out through Sills. Epstein just goes past Hooper. Lendrum working well in the centre of the field. Tried to knock it out to, well, herself really, then went to Vanderweel. The pressure in the middle. Good work from Hurley. I've been very impressed with her today. Pittman to Pengelly. Hit Roberts in the face. She can apologise later. Vanderweel. Inside 50 again. The marking contest, a lot of pairs getting underneath the ball at the moment rather than behind it. But it will be brought out by Epstein. She comes across the face, bounces away from Indiana Williams. Michaela Martin on top of it. Falls through to Pengelly. Pengelly 50 from goal. Outside of the boot, looking for the contest. Bounces inside. That's going to fall outside. Hannah Brennan, first chance of the day, wasn't able to take it.
It was another one of those kicks where you just wish it could have gone on the left foot, just changed up that angle a little bit.
First year in the QAFLW since coming up from Sydney for Hannah Brennan. She's made most posts a winner. As Crozier got it inside to Tyson, looking for Brennan. Brennan goes outside to Martin. Martin's got a fair bit of time and space. It's on target. Does it have the length? It does on both counts. Michaela Martin scores. Well, that's 3 goals in 5 minutes.
That's huge. This Aspley side just seemed to get better as they keep going. Last week, though, it was the second quarter that hurt them. So I feel like they've probably gone away to this game and gone, well, that second quarter needed work. And so far, it's working.
They're certainly very fierce at the contest in winning the ball in the first place, but I think you picked up on the key point before, which is that every single stoppage, there's a ring of about 7, just circling the contest. I don't know if Hornets do that. Vultures do, but we're at the wrong club for that.
Well, Hornets swarm, don't they?
They do. And in the wild, it's the female Hornets who sting. The men don't. Tyson, away from the contest, inside towards Liesi. Kick it from 70, your birthday girl. In towards 50. Good punch over the top from David. Fell kindly. This may still fall for Vetter. Using her body well, came up against 2 Roos, and they're able to clear enough through Tyndall. A 1-on-2 fell through the hands of Brennan. Excellent work in the contest from from Norton. That'll be a ball up 45 out. Aspley on a roll. Maroochydore needs to make a clearance count. The handball's just not sticking. Hurley overruns one, but I'm not going to fault her effort throughout this match so far. Tyson at the back of the contest. Jinx inside, goes straight across to Liesi.
Tyson's vision today has just been awesome. Just her ability to pick it up and put it somewhere useful for her team has been awesome.
Murfield dancing in the forwards. Comes back to Martin. Martin with the top of the boot. This will need a second effort. Daniette's over the back. Vetter looking for it. Fitzpatrick. Tyndall. Tyndall just overran it. May need to see this over the boundary. Play on. Inside to Daniette. She fumbles. Baker. Baker stepping inside. Will eventually be cleared through David. And this is important. Indiana Williams. Sorry, that was Norton again. Arnica Williams not onto it. And once again, Aspley regained possession. And as I say that, Arnica Williams did the work for Hooper to tease. Going forward to a 1-on-1. It's Hides versus Thompson. Peters forming a bit of support. Thompson there. Peters put pressure on. Lanigan able to clear. That's expertly done. Out to Lingard. Expertly done till that point. Indiana Williams benefits from the interception. Working up on the right-hand side through Peters. Time for a bounce. She'll kick from 40. It's a low searing kick. And Morgan Lanigan. That is probably the highlight of her centenary game so far.
Well, she read that ball so well. It also, helped that it wasn't too high up. Just went straight into her hands.
I feel that's the kind of experience you only really get after your 98th game or so. You need to have played 100 games to be able to read a ball like that.
I would agree.
Yeah. As Crozier just escorts the ball over the boundary.
So I've got about 95 games to go until I can reach that skill level.
Well, it's in you, Hannah
Good
Davis.
to know.
It's in you. I see potential. Boundary throw-in on the western side. Maroochydore in the front half on a rare occasion as Liesi just got the handball away. Crozier chasing with Fitzpatrick. Good intervention on that occasion. Maroochydore nearly able to clean it up. Fitzpatrick, that's good pretending that she wasn't trying to take it out. As it was Hooper, who I was trying to identify before and missed. Apologies to Dakota. Curvin over the back of Baker. Hurley working well. Tyson working better. She's a pleasure to watch, Louise Tyson. Inside the 50. Murfield got underneath it. Falls to Brennan. Oh, that's a goal saver from O'Grady. First time as captain today, but mark my words, she will be a regular QAFLW captain in the near future. Plays wide. It's a 2-on-2 contest. Maroochydore lose out. David was there first, but the pressure from Murfield caused the fumble. Second effort from O'Grady. Kicked off the ground, picked off by Logan. Logan will clear and finds Norton well. This is beautiful from Maroochydore. The handballing inside to Logan. She goes outside, and they found a chain of passes to get them out of defence. A little bit top of the boot, so they'll turn it over, but the pressure on the contest means that they fumbled it. Katasis was able to clean up behind. Pengelly through the hands. Tyson wrapped up immediately by Depot. Maroochydore showed in the first quarter they don't need much to be able to counter. They didn't have many opportunities, but one that they got, they turned into points. So Flaherty plays it up the left-hand side. That's a good mark from Crozier. And water is wet. Crozier inside the 50. On the lead was Vetter. Just fumbled at the crucial moment. Got some space. Looked for Tyson. Found Tyndall. Tyndall will clear. Depot got underneath it. Went over her head. Liesi chasing with Sills. Got there first. The handball back to Lanigan. She's got time, space, vision and ability. Went over the head of O'Flaherty to Norton. Norton steps inside. Finds Tees in support. Tees keeps it right. Liesi goes for the left foot. She's had a few left foot kicks today. Found Brennan easily. Or possibly Brennan found it. Inside to Martin. She goes wide to Vanderweel. The switch is on. The Maroochydore defence has come across. I'm not sure that was swift enough or possibly wide enough from Aspley. Pengelly on the 50. A lot of space though. She can pump it from here. Goes for a low kick. Doesn't really find the forwards. First effort. Vet around the body. Tyson not able to get to it. Gets to it now. That's a snap on a terrible angle, but it's a wonderful kick.
How on earth did she do that, Daniel?
Because Louise Tyson. That is why.
That was seriously awesome. And I kind of mentioned before, I'm going to give myself credit for this, Tyson's vision. But the ironic thing about that was that I don't think she could she wasn't even facing in the direction of it. But she just sort of pops up exactly when you need her to. You know, she doesn't crowd the space, but her presence when it's, you know, when there's space for her is just brilliant. It's her timing.
I'm sure that she is capable of playing in the contest, but what we've seen from her in the QAFLW for the last 2 years is her ability outside the contest, to know where the ball's going to squirt, to be there and to take advantage of it. And that's not the first great goal we've seen today. It's been a wonderful exhibition of football. So Maroochydore get the better of this contest. Able to hack it forward through Hooper. They get an inside 50, trying to make it count. Thompson did well to first tackle and then turn it into a strip. Tees will clean up. Needed to handball quickly. Found Peters. Peters moved a bit further back. She'll pump it inside 50, but Lanigan was there. I think Lanigan attracted that ball to herself magnetically. Goes underneath O'Flaherty and Lendrum. Peters. Peters is working hard. Just got away from the tackle enough. Sills. Sills a fair way out. Looking for the forwards. Didn't quite fall where she wanted. Katatis. Hyde's working well. Depot. Depot has a bit of space. Went to kick over the top. That hasn't gone 15, so even though it was caught on the full. But Maroochydore, opportunity not over.
They tend to just chip away at it, don't they? Don't have the same speed of transition.
Outside the Hydes. Just across the face. And Aspley will clear. Sorry, Hannah.
No, you're all good.
Retaken by Epstein. Epstein just got away from the tackle in time. Nearly fell to Sills. The work at the back from Aspley was important. Another ball up. In fact, it's a free kick to Aspley. They'll have a chance to clear. I think that was a push in the back. As Pengelly just struggling to get up. Jessie Sills making sure she's okay.
Rue's just getting really close at it, but Aspley's defence, again, just superb.
There's Vetter a forward, but the Aspley forwards, if Luke Glacken's your coach, you track back. You don't just slack around up forward. Danietz took a good mark, then found a good pass to Martin. Martin working right. It'll go over the head of Lendrum. Falls towards Crozier. She gets hands to it, but too many roos. Epstein in space finds the target of Peters. As Robert says, I've got the mark. Lucy, you go that way. Sophie Peters can't really find an open target up front. Yes, she can. And then Thompson came across. Jessie Sills was all open. The pass from Peters was about to land in her lap. Lucy Thompson thought, I'd better get on my bike here.
Well, that's the thing. The pass was perfect, but what they probably needed was to give it a bit of space to run onto it. I think that's just, unfortunately, for the Roos, the passing's been great, but it's just been where the Hornets are able to use their speed to intercept it.
Never kick to a stationary target is the old maxim. Probably the same in netball.
Very much so.
As David just knocks that ball over the boundary, it'll be a throw-in. Cricket you can hit to a stationary target. Maybe lawn bowls, probably the other sport where you can go to a stationary target.
Glad to know.
Yeah, let's just get comprehensive. Oh, that's a beautiful run onto it from Roberts. Kicks it. That is the best butt defence I've seen in my life from Jair Epstein. It's important to defend with all parts of the body. Edgar looking for the run of Hydes. Hydes already has a goal today. Baker, Hydes on target. Second goal for her today.
And it all went back to that butt defence.
That's an assist.
I'm calling that.
In all seriousness, clearly the way that she blocked the ball was accidental, but she was in position. She was putting pressure on the contest, and then Maroochydore were able to use it. And sometimes that chaos ball, as Jeff Newman often calls it, is where you get your opportunities. And the teamwork at the front as the halftime siren goes, but Maroochydore finish on a high.
They do, and you're exactly right in that word chaos. I think Maroochydore thrive in that. So I think they've just got to take that in their stride for the next half and use that chaos, because the Hornets do play a very structured game, and so I think when stuff like that happens, they almost kind of catch them off guard a little bit. And we'll be back, of course, after the halftime break as the Aspley Hornets lead their visitors, Maroochydore Roos, 42-12.
The thing I love about my job is that I get to combine both my passions together, surfing and musculoskeletal physiotherapy, and that was the PhD which I did here at Bond University.
I'm originally from southern Brazil, and during my PhD at Bond University, I met James Furness, and now we do surfing research together.
I was a physiotherapist, and so I took that knowledge to the surfing population. The facilities here at Bond University are incredible. Access to the equipment, so VO2 max testing, DEXA, all of that was here on campus. Really our goal is looking at minimising injury, but also maximising performance. Keeping people on the water for longer is really important. If someone can't surf, that affects their physical health, but also their mental health.
Through Bond University, I could get all the equipment I needed to do my PhD studies. It's world-class waves and international surfing events. It was a no-brainer.
We went to Snapper Rocks and we got to be part of a world-class surf event and also perform surfer health checks on the world's best surfers.
On the Gold Coast, we can find perfect work-life balance.
How I want to live my life with my family is I want it to be outdoors. I want them playing in the water, playing in the surf. The number one reason why a student should come study here would be the access they have to staff, and it's just better than any other university. The fact that you can walk straight into the professor's office and get that one-on-one feedback, I think is just second to none.
Welcome back to the second half of round 11. The Aspley Hornets taking on the Maroochydore Roos and currently leading by 30 points. Across the league, though, there are a few matches happening at this very point, all of which, of course, you can watch the replays on later in the week when you'd like to on the AFLQ YouTube channel. The first of those, Yeronga taking on Coorparoo, currently trailing 17 to 28. Over at UQ, we've got UQ leading Wilson Grange 15 to 7, so relatively close one there. And we'll be starting in about a minute, but of course, given you're all engaged at the half-point time in this game, we'll be sure that you catch the replay of that one later on. But Southport are taking on Bond University in the Clash of the Coast. That one is sure to be a huge one, first versus second. So make sure you catch the replays of those all across the week. Daniel, what did you make of the first half of this one? 30-point margin, but it doesn't really feel like it.
No, it's, I mean, what we've seen there, Aspley is slick and Maroochydore is feisty. And you put them together on one field and you get a lot of entertainment. So forget the Shark Stoush or Das Sharkenstalchen happening down the Gold Coast, because right here it's the Northern Derby. As we leave the fake German behind, as Demi Norton will get the first inside 50, goes back to Pittman, just fumbles. Maroochydore handballing well. On the outside, Otto, just brought to ground, recovered very well. There's an opportunity here for Maroochydore. They could get the first score of the second half. Punch through, was it before or after the line? It was before. Lucy Thompson, take a bow.
Great work from Thompson there. She's been a standout in defence, like just getting to balls from anywhere across the field.
She's got a good thump out of fullback as well. Into the contest. The hands first were, I think, from Norton. Good work from Vanderweel at the back. Lingard, the left foot kick out of trouble from Pittman. Cut off by Baker. Maroochydore with the upper hand in the second half. Inside to Edgar, handball to Indiana Williams. Williams, Pengelly too well placed. Just dropped it at the crucial moment under pressure from Tees. Goes all the way back to Thompson. She can thump with 2 feet. There aren't many in this comp who can do that. Epstein did well. Lanigan, 100th game, haven't mentioned that for a while. Ball up on the 50. What am I up to, 30, 40?
I think not enough is the answer.
Yes. Yeah, Morgan Lanigan's 100th game, just thought I'd mention that again. Liesi, it's her birthday today. Sills, neither her 100th game nor her birthday, but Jessie Sills a very important part of Maroochydore for a long time. Michaela Martin, looking for Crozier. Good pressure from Indiana Williams yet again. The handball from Daniels didn't really go to anyone, certainly not anyone wearing chocolate and lemon, as Epstein through the middle finds Jessie Sills. Just tried to take that with the hands sort of coming down on top of it. Maybe a netball thing. Either way, didn't work today. Aspley regather. Lingard, Pengelly. Goes over the top of Liesi, who was calling for it. Good work in the middle from Tyndall to put pressure on, but it was Murfield who came up with it. The Aspley counter is on. Over the head of the contest, Fitzpatrick looks to have that covered. Will go wide for Epstein. This is a very calm start to the quarter for Maroochydore. It's Aspley who has to put the chaos pressure on. Martin, well done at the back from Indiana Williams. She's done good things in all 3 zones of the field in the first 2 minutes of this quarter. Well done by Otto. Sorry, Hannah, I'll let you back in a moment as Indiana Williams goes through the centre square. Inside 50, looking for Sills. Lanigan at the back, 100th game. Taken well by Pittman. Inside, finds Liesi. May have just copped an accidental knee in the back, so she may have to go off the field and get cake early.
Possible injury aside, though, it does feel like a totally different side from Maroochydore, just way more calm and controlled in their passing.
Well, I don't think they had those chains of passes too often in the first 2 quarters. They looked for them a lot. I don't know what they had at half-time, but it worked.
Even here, the numbers. Great tackle there. And again, the support coming from the teammates.
Norton, Sills and Hurley. Coming through the middle there was Pittman. She put pressure on. Aspley on the attack again. Vetter lurking out the back of the contest because Rachel Vetter. Back to Daniels. Daniels pumping it forward, looking for Lendrum. Fell nicely for Vetter, just wasn't able to hold on. Back to Stallard. Stallard off target, but playing for the freaky bounce. There's no Maroochydore pressure. Martin on an angle, it went out of bounds first. But I think Dave Hume would be a little disappointed that there was only one player in their left back pocket and they were wearing a jersey that wasn't in his team. Maroochydore working well. Lendrum, Baker, tackle on, just spilled free and deemed, I think, to be in the back. So Baker will get the free in the left back pocket. Baker with a good drop punt, just fell into the gap between players. Hurley was nearest, then went to Pengelly, Vanderweel. Vanderweel looks across, found Liesi. Bit of a win behind her, but elects not to go the full thump. Plays a little bit short, was looking for Lendrum, didn't land. Stallard and O'Grady, the 225s. Lendrum tried to crash through, just got a fist to the ball as it fell loose. O'Grady, superb work twice from defence, probably 3 times. Picked off by Curvin. The fumble gives an opportunity to Otto. Vanderweel, Pengelly. Pengelly towards the 50, looking for Murfield. Got hands to it, then went through the legs of Martin. The pressure from behind came from O'Grady. Ball up. Entertaining play. Fierce play. Sills picked off by Martin. Martin with the vision across field, but it will be picked off by Epstein. She's been terrific today. Epstein comes wider. Found Edgar on her lonesome. Has Fitzpatrick on the outside. Epstein, look at the effort, putting the meters in to give and go, and now Edgar's doing the same for her. Comes wide, and we'll find Logan.
What a difference we're seeing, and Aspley's still kind of marking the space, but the difference is that, oh, and there's Tyson again. I was nearly going to say the difference is the accuracy from Maroochydore has stepped up a level. Unfortunately, though, not on that occasion, and Tyson led the charge for this transition now.
Well, overall, you were correct. But yeah, Tyson to Vanderweel to Murfield. Murfield just came off the outside of the boot, but found Lendrum on her lonesome. Her fumble just gave space for Indiana Williams. She's able to clear over the back of Pengelly. That ended up being an important touch because it took away from Peters. Back to Lanigan. 100th game, don't you know? Up the wing. Taken by Vanderweel.
Is it 100 mentions for 100 games?
That's the plan. And will it get annoying? Yes. Yes, it will. Murfield keeps it wide. Overcooked the kick. O'Grady says thank you. Lovely work coming from the back from Vanderweel. She's been growing throughout the season. I'm told she was a very talented junior. Took a bit of time out from the game. As Pittman brought to ground, that was Hurley. And not for the first time today. I've been impressed with Zara Hurley's work in midfield. She has a twin who plays in reserve grade, Holly. Comes through to Peters. Peters thumps inside, 50. Thompson. Thompson's been a rock. Absolute rock at the back today. Came out wide, was looking for O'Flaherty, but found Daniette. She finds O'Flaherty. She'll keep it wide. Kick to a contest rather than looking for the short pass. Brennan fumbles. David nearly benefited. Crozier took on 3 tackles. Fitzpatrick, well, got her, but the disposal was good enough. Very calm kick out of pressure, but kicked to about a 1-on-6. Thankfully, the one was Lily Logan. She's worked hard. Inside to Hooper. Lily Logan can take a lot of credit there. Just spins past Lanigan. Logan picks it off. Lanigan again with the second effort. Pittman comes wide. Liesi's in space. Lovely overhead. Liesi keeps it wide. Murfield's the target. Got the hands to it, but not around it. Brennan, industrious today without getting much space. Just had the one shot on goal, missed to the right. Tyson worked hard. Went back to O'Flaherty. Vanderweel. In towards, oh, that's beautiful overhead from Michaela Martin. Vetter is streaming forward. Vetter is the target, didn't go far enough. Baker picked it off. Baker on her bike, she'll clear 50. Nearest to it is Sophie Peters. In support, she had Emily Otto. Waiting for it was Pittman, and she was pummeled. Maroochydore with a 2-on-1. They have dominated this third quarter, but not been able to make it count. Jessie Sills trying to step inside Lingard. Just got the fist to it, but superb work from Lingard. Sills Sockers. Depot tried to create space for a teammate, then realised it probably should have been for her. Ball up outside 50. One point scored this quarter, 9 minutes gone. Good work from Baker in the ruck contest. Tyson away, running away from Depot. Maybe not the kick she wanted. Went underneath Indiana Williams. Working hard is Murfield. She's been good up front today. And when dropping back, well read. Oh, that's superb. Absolutely superb.
Much better defense from the Roos, just putting that pressure on the Hornets to make those little errors.
I forgot to say Sarah Jane O'Grady's name because it's kind of just assumed. Been doing it for years. Brennan picked up the ball, looked up, said, what's in front of me? Oh, look, there's 3 Roos.
I'm loving the intensity that's just lifted in this second half from Maroochydore.
I suppose the only problem for it is it started when they were 30 points down, so...
You're right, and they are in catch-up mode.
Baker getting the better of the ruck. They have got some real energy about them, the Roos, in this third quarter. Aspley aren't playing badly. And the Q's not in the rack. They're not saying, we're 30 points up, we'll just relax. Aspley don't do that.
It's these times where I always think, what did the coach say at halftime? I mean, was it a pump up or was it a spray?
Well, Dave Hume's capable of both, and he knows when to employ them. As Tyson on the attack, it goes too wide for Crozier, spins away from her. She gets there first anyway. Good work from Tyndall, her Lions Academy teammate. Out wide, inside towards Vetter. Vetter looking for space, facing away from goal, found the option in Roberts. Just got away from the defender. Oh, Crozier. Balletic.
Beautiful vision in that passage of play. It just works that little triangle. That's what I love about the Hornets is they really use their peripheral to check out all angles.
Rania Crozier. The best way to finish off an overhead mark like that is with a straight shot. I built it up for you, Rania. You let me down. Says the fat bloke with a microphone sitting down.
Commentators curse, we'll call that.
But no, it's. I don't think we're going to be seeing Rania Crozier in the QAFLW for much longer, to be honest. I think there's just too much talent about her. Having said that, I don't select them, and the last thing I want to do is stop someone from enjoying their sport because the media's put too much pressure on them. As the clearance doesn't quite work, Lendrum just fumbles on the 50, looked back for Tyson, and Tyson ran past it. Just ill communication. Hand pass went through Pittman inside. That's lovely work. Pittman handles a third time. Looking towards Vetter. Pittman, it nearly bounced through for Pittman. Stallard is there. Stallard trying to knock it to Vetter. Vetter eventually will finish it off. Truly. And all that time that Maroochydore were dominating the quarter, Aspley never panicked. And when they got their opportunity, I mean, I said in the preview that they are arguably the best finishing team in this competition. And we just got an example of it there.
And they put in the work in that first half to mean that they didn't need to panic because, you know, scoreboard pressure is integral. Like, you can't underestimate how important it is just to have, you know, the team look up and see that they're 30 points down. Now 36.
Fell to Danietz. Way back to Martin. Epstein. And Maroochydore are hitting back straight away as Peters gets it inside 50. Over the top, Hides was looking for it. 3 horrible bounces, but it falls to Hides. She's already got 2 for the day. Lanigan comes back, wrapped up by Edgar. Don't say it, Daniel, don't say it. Okay, I got there. Lanigan's 100th game, damn it. Good work from Lingard. Pengelly. Pengelly wrestling hard with Norton. On the ground. I don't know why the umpire waited for that. I think they're almost posing on the ground. They're just waiting for the photo to be taken before the umpire blew it up.
I think they were.
The free kick's gone though, sorry. It's fallen Edgar in the goal square. Well, I was talking about the previous contest. Maroochydore were playing on. laid it up. Hayley Edgar, she's scored a few this season. You can add one to that.
Well, back to the 30-point margin with 6 minutes to play in this third quarter. But they're certainly not giving up the Roos. You mentioned before it'd been a fierce contest, Daniel. And you're certainly right. I mean, the tackling in this game has been awesome, and the physicality that both teams are bringing seems to be getting more intense as this game goes along.
And to me, the technique of the tackling's been good as well. It's all been around the body. It's all been, shoulder and hip. The umpires have, anything that's been illegal, they've pulled up, but there hasn't been much to pull up.
No, and they've done well to actually allow that physical contest as well.
There's been nothing patronising about the umpiring today as it comes out wide to Vanderweel, who's had a good contest today. Under a lot of pressure. Well done by Otto. Saw a catharsis bearing down on her and just balked slightly, but Hooper was there to clean up. Then Pengelly hides. Didn't get the goal before, but played an important role in setting it up. Danietz got the disposal away. 1-2 with Lendrum. Danietz down the side, intercepted by Indiana Williams.
You'd be forgiven for getting caught up in that 1-2 with Danietz before Williams swept that one up.
All 8 teams this year, that one of the notable improvements in the Bond University QAFLW is Tees blocks that back to Vanderweel. All of the teams are handballing better. We have had more handballing chains in the 2023 Bond University QAFLW than probably in any previous year. The standard's rising all the time, and I'm privileged to be here for it. As Danietz just tries to knock it back. Got tied up with Sills and Otto. Ooh, I thought an arm might have just been bent out of position there, but all's fair, all's well. Curvin versus Baker right in front of us. That one goes pretty much sideways. Liesi roves well, but got it away. Only went as far as the player behind the contest in Hurley. Sorry, it was Otto. So boundary throw in centre wing. It's a little bit of a lull. I don't expect it to last as volleyball breaks out. Baker goes wide. Martin pushed off it by Epstein. Baker through the middle. Hurley. Pickpocketed by Vanderweel. Her handball goes wide to Otto. Running onto it is Hooper. Pengelly wraps her up. Falls out wide to Roberts. Roberts will clear. There's some space. But it goes straight to a one-on-one. Tyndall and Vetter. There's a bit of pace. We know that Vetter's fast. Tyndall, I've heard, was fast, and we just saw it in stunning action. Past Tyndall, but she had a teammate behind her for whom she was able to offer protection. Ball up. Far side of the centre square. Vetter just carrying on a little. I don't think there's really anything to react to there. Curvin does well. Finds Liesi. Liesi thumps. Crozier not able to bring it in that occasion. Gets the rebound. Handballs inside 50. Running back onto it, Indiana Williams. She can play forward, but she's been largely sort of half-back flank in the last couple of weeks and done some brilliant work as Vanderweel got the turnover, found Tyson. She jinxed twice. Further inside 50, looking for the bounce. Fitzpatrick read it well. Stallard. Vetter. Vetter looking for the dribble. This is on target. Brennan may just have to... And apologies, I lost my bearings. That's a behind. I was looking down. I couldn't see the post high, so I got excited. So.
Happens to the best of us, Daniel.
Does it? Or is it just me all the time, really? So, no, I'm embarrassed, so, yeah. That's where you go, it's all right again, Daniel.
It's all right again, Daniel.
Thank you, yeah. If you're going to stay in this commentary box, you've got to learn things like that. It's clear. The mark just dropped on the 50 by Pengelly. And again, the clear air, lots of balls in dispute. No one wants to let the opposition get space, which is exactly how footy should be played. Curvin. Fumbled. Lots of fumbles today. There's nothing wrong with the handling conditions. It's just that there's usually an opponent bearing down on you. Depot fumbles and then says, well, I'll make up for that by wrapping up Vanderweel.
Yeah, it's been really hard to get a bit of a flow happening because you're exactly right, Daniel. As soon as anyone gets it, they've been pretty much instantly wrapped up, as we're seeing right now. But here's the space.
Sorry, Hannah, as Hurley gets it out wide. Finds Tees back to Epstein, who's been very busy today. Looking for the contest was Edgar. Norton, very busy, wrapped up by Thompson and also Roberts. Just realised we had Depot tackling Vanderweel before. Is that a Belgian waffle? Not sure.
Something I hadn't questioned until this point.
It's just my brain. We're not really seeing, I mean, yeah, just to justify my jokes about Belgian small goods, we, as we enter the last minute, not really much of an opportunity to see the tactical development of both sides because they're cancelling each other out at the moment. And so it's not really a highlights reel kind of third quarter, but it's been absolutely enthralling. As Maroochydore just have one chance left, they might be able to sneak something as it came inside to Hooper. Hooper just put it on the boot. It's way off target. Edgar won't get there in time. There will still be enough time for a boundary throw in.
Well, as the clock counts down, the Roos have done pretty well to kind of keep the Hornets at bay. Because after that second quarter, you felt like this one, they could have really run away with it.
As it falls out back to Logan, tried to have a shot, just didn't get enough boot on it. And the tackle is made. Aspley will wind down the seconds. So this would pretty much have to be ruck, tap, shoot, score.
Easy done.
It's happened. It was tapped, went to Aspley. And an intriguing third quarter comes to a close here at Zups Aspley Oval.
And an even more intriguing fourth quarter. The Roos will have a lot of work to do while Aspley try their best to keep their visitors at bay as they hold that lead 50-19. And we'll be back very soon for the fourth and final quarter of this round 11 clash. Welcome back to the final and fourth quarter of the round 11 Bond University QAFLW clash between the Aspley Hornets and the Maroochydore Roos. Daniel, tell me what you're hoping to see from both of these sides as we see Aspley hold on to a pretty good margin over the Roos.
I think if I'm Luke Glacken right now, I'm not seeing this as a time to experiment. Maybe if you've got a big lead in a match in round 3, you might think, okay, what combinations can we try? I think this is where they need to be as ruthless as possible and say, okay, in the third quarter, maybe we turn the dial down a little bit. We probably need to make sure we know how to bring this home and really, put an opposition to bed. If I'm a Maroochydore coach, and I notice at the moment, Dave Hume's got a big smile on his face. In fact, I might keep quiet for a moment and see what we can hear. Well, Dave Hume knows far more about footy than I do, and he doesn't need my approval. But that is, I think, the perfect thing to say in that circumstance, which is we found in the third quarter a method that works in taking on this Aspley side. Let's see if we can sustain it, because the teams at the bottom of the table are the ones that struggle with the four-quarter efforts. He's demanding that from them now and saying, okay, let's finish this out, let's go strong, let's prove to ourselves that we can take on a top-of-the-table side. And, of course, maybe, just maybe, it works. You come up against a tiring side and you can really put the wind up them.
Well, I think what the Roos did so well is adapt from that second half to the third quarter. I think Aspley perhaps didn't adapt as well in the third. I think, their defence kind of, we said they were doing that in zone and really defending the space, which worked great when the Roos weren't as accurate. But what we saw in the third quarter was completely different, and all of a sudden their kicks and handballs were going exactly where they wanted to, and they were free because they didn't have the players expecting that to happen. The Aspley defenders were still hoping that there'd be a stray pass and they could chase that down. So it shows how quickly their structure has to change depending on their opposition.
And the way you create good passing chains is by off-ball movement, as Curvin gets a magnificent tap to begin the fourth. Danietz was looking for Tyson, didn't quite find her. O'Flaherty out the back. Well, actually came to Tyson out the back. O'Flaherty was out the side. Martin's in the middle. They're going to play school mode, apparently. Martin straight through the middle. That's well picked off by Baker. I can see what the oh. Now, look, there's a case for a 50 there, but I think Crozier, just her body language showed it was all accidental. And as Lingard, great effort over the top. Vanderweel seems to have copped it from behind. Inadvertent. She looks a little groggy. We'll keep an eye on her. Curvin went for the punch. Missed. Epstein and Norton through the middle. Tyson working hard. Didn't see as much of her in the third quarter, but still putting the work in. And she's someone who's known for her full-quarter efforts. As Sills dribbles through the contest. Lingard cleans up. Back to Pittman. Pittman jinks around Hooper. Pittman comes wide. Vanderweel's back on her feet. Nearly takes a specky. Falls through to Martin. She goes without it. Good work on the ground from, I think it was Otto. It was. Falls to Peters. Peters just over the head of Pittman. I'm not sure the kick went where she meant it to go, but it wasn't as bad as it looked. Pittman plays through Lingard out towards Thompson, and Thompson will clear out the other side. Good switch, but Maroochydore have moved across in numbers. So the fourth quarter effort that Dave Hume was asking for, we have evidence. Epstein inside 50, good mark on the lead. Demi Norton, decorated junior football, making a mark in senior football. Has a shot from a fair way out. Thompson will punch it through for the minor. A lot of the good play in this match has neutralised each other. So Crozier went for the fly, didn't work. Crashing through is Martin. Martin through the middle, found Murfield. Brennan's making her way forward, as is Martin again. Big second effort. Crozier They've got the numbers up front. Martin could run onto this. Stallard is wide, got behind O'Grady. The bounce, if anything, favoured O'Grady, and Epstein, who's been doing it all day, made the run backwards. That falls, though, to O'Flaherty. O'Flaherty on her left foot. It stays left. Vetter not quite able to keep it in.
Well, you can hear that applause from the coaches, and they're certainly right. Thompson's just been a brick wall in the defence there. I know at the end of the match we'll go through who our best on will be, and her name will certainly be appearing.
Definitely in the mix. There's Brennan on the ground, pulled out by Baker. Her name will be in the mix. Narrowing it down to 3 is usually our problem, and I don't see today being an exception. Good work wide by Vanderweel. Probably the best game I've seen her play for Aspley this season. Good work from Baker again, Vanderweel again, all the usual suspects. Over the top, went to Martin, wrapped up immediately by, I think, Tyndall. Brought to ground about 25 from goal. Steph Carter says, I'll have that, thank you very much. Yes, the voice you heard from the coaching box, Ash Williamson, as she's known these days, but Ash Hales for many years. Played in 2 grand finals. She's a coach. She's an umpire. She joined me in commentary one day. I think the absolute world of her. As Crozier goes check side again. May not have the distance directly. Falls to Stallard. Needs not much space. Gets not much space. Gets a whole lot of goal.
How good was the little dribble? So clever just to bounce it on the ground.
They're a smart side, Aspley. And you mentioned earlier today the influx of players that came from University of Queensland, and that was mainly started. Luke Glacken, who was assistant coach to Ross last year, he was offered a head coach role here. There are a few clubs after him actually, but Aspley won the race. He's come over. He's told me he owes a lot of his coaching philosophy to Ross Clayfield. And there is really an intellectual, I mean, Ross Clayfield's an English teacher, and there was always a bit of an intellectual streak through the tactics. And so anything you can do that just makes the play a little bit less predictable, a little bit more interesting, they will do. Curvin didn't have the better of the rucks in the 3rd term, but is certainly leading the count in the 4th. Ball up outside is just, there was a hint of an arm getting torn out of its socket. Not the kind of violence we want. Baker gets on top. She heard me. Clearly, that's how things work. Arnica Williams on the ground. Tied up very well. And we're back to that tight contest as O'Flaherty applied the human straitjacket. Danietz getting away from Peters. She's been very busy today. Martin will break free, courtesy of a quick handball to her. Crozier battling well with Indiana Williams. They'll know each other well. Peters goes in 3 directions, eventually gets it back to Baker. And finds Norton through the middle. Norton towards the 50. Well read by Morgan Lanigan. How many games has she played, Hannah Davies?
99?
I think it's one more than that. I think it might be one more.
Big 100, of course.
Pengelly drives it forward. Crozier knocking it through. Found herself on the other side of the contest. Pulled off it. Brennan. Lovely little soccer kick from outside. Looking for Stallard. She's wide out. Have a go, Jess. Goes towards the goal square. Beats everyone. That'll be out of bounds for a throw-in. And without wanting to gild the lily, the turnover from Lanigan turned into a goal-scoring opportunity. Aspley almost certain to get the 4 points today as it falls to Vanderweel. Apologies, that was Michaela Martin. Apologies to both players. Michaela Martin usually finds a way onto the score sheet and only needed half an opportunity there. As Vanderweel runs off the field to prove that she didn't score the goal.
Yeah, that one will sting extra hard for the Roos, as of course watching their former best and fairest player kick a goal. That will really just seal the deal here at Zups Aspley Oval. The Roos did well in the early minutes of this quarter to hold them off, but it's pretty hard to put a stop to Aspley. And they're taking that margin now, 42 points.
They're a quality side. As I say, we reached the stage of the season now where we kind of expected, okay, Aspley are a top 3 side and they'll make the finals. We forget that would be a first for them. This has been a club that's struggled for a while to establish its women's program, and now they are having a season they've been building towards for a while. Peters won the free kick, went wide. to Baker. Baker goes inside 50, over the head of Tees, also over the head of Hurley. Picked up by Katatis, who did well. Then to Curvin, clears 50. The bounce is awkward, cleaned up by Norton. Norton towards the edge of the 50. Pengelly just ran a little bit too far underneath it. Norton's clean bowled. Oh, lovely handball on the ground from Crozier to Liesi. Daniels under pressure from Baker, picked off by Peters, the turnover. Logan underneath. That's a moonball handball. Came back to Baker. She went wide to Indiana Williams. Wide again, finds Peters. She has time for a bounce. May have time for a second. May shoot from 40. Beautiful mark from Hydes. We've been used to that from Aspley today. Maybe not as used to it from Maroochydore, but that was just beautiful, full forward marking from Kaya Hydes. Goal in the first quarter, goal in the second, missed the third, but she's got a goal in the fourth. First ever hat-trick in the Bond University QAFLW for Kaya Hydes.
And that whole passage of play, going back 3 or 4 handballs before that, was just so patient from the Roos. The way they've evolved over this game to that passage, it's just been awesome to watch. You could see, you know, even in that first quarter, that the vision and the idea they were trying to pull off was always there, and now they've just been able to find the skill execution to make it count.
Competition-wide bye next week, and then Maroochydore have Southport first up. So that's obviously going to be tough for them, but if they play against them like they have today, I'd love to see what they can pull.
Particularly the second half, Daniel. The second half effort today is what they'll need to bring for 4 quarters against a team like Southport.
As Indiana Williams burst through a couple and then eventually was wrapped up by O'Flaherty and in fact conceded the free kick. Well done, Holly. Only her second game in top grade today, Holly O'Flaherty. Sorry, for this year, I mean. She's played plenty before this year, including a Rising Star nomination last year. Falls to ground. Baker will be first to it. She's been superb today. Probably best on ground last week as well. Clearly in good form. Picked off by David as Aspley got a handball chain together. Logan going backwards. Got it at the second attempt. I think Tyson felt she got hands on it, but knew better than to argue. Peters slips. Back inside to Logan. She gets a handball away, but they are under pressure. The boundary line is Maroochidore's friend. But then after that, they've got UQ, and that's... I mean, UQ are improving. I think they're having a good result today last time we looked. After that, Wilston Grange, and after that, Cooperoo. And that might be a game that Cooperoo needs to win to ensure their finals place in round 12. Maroochydore could yet have a very big bearing on this competition. Falls through the hands of O'Grady. Who was captained well from the back today. And often what we don't see on TV, or that I get time to point out, as O'Grady wins the free kick, is just how much organising off the ball these fullbacks do. The yelling, the pointing, making sure that the players in front of them who do get their names mentioned are in the right position. As Curvin did well on the far side, supported well, but it fell away to, I think that was Fitzpatrick, who just saw the ball fly off the edge of the boot. In fact, apologies, that was Indiana Williams. So I've done a bit of that today. I do care, I do practice.
We know you do, Daniel.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Just don't want people feeling disappointed. Maroochydore through Aspley. Well, they had possession. Ended up going back to Roberts. Liesi, she's had a good 20th birthday. The 4 points will be the first present. And then the dressing room will be wall-to-wall cake afterwards. As Michaela Martin scored before, looking for the run. May fall anyway. Vanderveel this time. Gets the handball over the top. Well intercepted by O'Grady. Goes back. Tyndall's there. David's there. Lanigan's there. They've pushed her forward to see if she can score in her 100th game. Which is something a lot of clubs do. Someone's got a milestone game, stick them in the forwards in the final quarter, see if you can get them on the board.
So obviously that was the challenge, get to the point where you can do that and then see what happens.
As Norton, one of many excellent players on the field today, just beats the contest. Hat-trick hero Hydes. It's got a nice sound to it. Depot. She's worked hard on debut. And while she plays against high-quality footballers most of the time, getting star teenage players in to come in and play against the bigger bodies at this level is another important part of your football education. And it's always a privilege to see a young player make their debut, and I don't want to put any pressure on her, but I look forward to seeing what Lataia Depo can do in future years, future rounds. Another inside 50 for Aspley, immediately diffused by Epstein. Hides on the wing. It's probably where she's played the most football, but she's certainly done well as forwards today as Depo. Handball outside. Inside, and the mark is taken inside by Hurley. Hurley goes across goal, finds Peters. This is definitely within Peters' range.
It would be a great way to finish off the second half.
Plenty on it. Just to the left. I thought it was going to sneak inside. But we are going to see a Sophie Peters bomb go through the posts at some point in her QAFLW career. So Thompson coming west side where it's pretty much one-on-one contests. Aspley had the numbers but not the possession in the end. Norton will restart the attack. Another inside 50, swept by Pengelly, stayed on her feet, found Katasis. Katasis thumps. Looking for Martin, found her just over the back of Arnica Williams. Had Tyson inside, got too close. Goes with a 45 across to Vetter. Vetter immediately gets away from Tyndall. Lanigan was over the top. The kick wasn't what Vetter wanted. Lanigan getting towards it. Needs to get away. O'Grady says, I don't care how many games you've played. You are not getting past me. Free kick paid, much to the consternation. Rebound. Looking for Lanigan out the back of the pack. The fairy tale is still on.
Hornets are just doing everything they can to get that ball to Lanigan. It's very entertaining to watch.
She's already scored a couple this season, scored a couple against UQ. Fell to Danietz. Danietz towards goal, off target. I think she thought about kicking it on target, but then thought, no, I'll miss, and then we'll get the kick out.
Yeah.
So she's a team player, Courtney.
She certainly is.
And she'll get cake on Monday. Happy birthday, Courtney. One of the long-term stars of the Bond University QAFLW. Maroochydore out through Tyndall, through about 3 sets of hands. Katatis with the mini spike. Baker went for it, ended up bowling over her opponent, and Crozier up towards the forwards. Lanigan dropped it. They're still looking for her. Trying to get it back. She needs to soccer it. David is held. There'll be a ball up. And I have a funny feeling that Lanigan is going to be about a metre from the contest here. Don't ask me how I know.
It's such a bizarre strategy to watch in play of seeing one player trying to get a goal.
There are 33 players on the field with various positions on whether one player scores a goal. The 4 points no longer matter. The finals position no longer matter. There is one story at Zups Aspley Oval right now. So Lanigan's got the mark. The kick inside. She was outsized.
Wouldn't this be the fairy tale ending to already a great performance from Lanigan?
Lining it up, she's making sure she gets the angle exactly right. Umpire, tell me where to stand. I will stand exactly where you want. Morgan Lanigan, first player in Aspley history to make 100 games. I'm just going to do what I was going to do. It's a goal. It's an amazing goal. What a wonderful goal from Morgan Lanigan. I've never...
Just imagine, in fairness, imagine the pressure that Morgan Lanigan was feeling in that moment. After all of that effort to get to her, I'd probably shank it too.
I wouldn't have taken the mark in the first place.
No way.
Oh dear. And the rest of the context of this game suddenly comes back. Maroochydore playing it down the eastern side of the ground to Edgar. Vanderweel gets onto the mark. Edgar looking for options up front. It's all one-on-one contests. Nothing clear to kick to, so she goes to the contest. Excellent in traffic from Arnica Williams. She's on her bike fairly much straight away. Looking for Depo. Just dropped it behind her. Lingard was lurking, but the boundary was closer.
They've probably confirmed too why they normally have Lanigan in the full back line. In the nicest way.
You said it, not me. You can face her afterwards. Wonderful mark from Hurley. Does Maroochydore have a chance at the other end? They've had their own celebrations in the past. Plenty of people played 100 games for them. Hurley. Got underneath it a little bit. Looking for someone in the goal square. Hydes nearly had it. Goes back to Edgar. Edgar will need to snap. Good pressure from Lanigan. Off the ground. Off target. Good effort from Otto. I feel that Otto should be on the scoreboard a lot more than she should. She often gets herself into good positions, and it sounds like I'm criticising. It's more that she gets into good positions. She will often make the goal-scoring opportunity and just hasn't had the luck so far this year. I think that's what I'm trying to say. As Aspley looking to play out, that just spins the wrong way past O'Flaherty, who's in the unfamiliar position on the right-hand side of the field. Closing stages of an entertaining round 11 Bond University QAFLW match at Zups Aspley Oval. Hooper handballed it to no one. O'Flaherty tracking. Good pressure from Hooper. The disposal was clean. Aspley clear. Norton underneath it. Crozier and Williams. Williams beats Crozier in a marking battle that I hope we see for the next decade. Indiana Williams looking for someone close. That's a beautiful defensive mark from Lingard. Another stalwart. There'll be equally big occasion when she reaches the 100 games here. She finds Pengelly in the pocket. Told to play on. Over everyone. Danietz. Danietz puts it forward. Tees was all over that. Final minute. Tees inside finds Epstein. Fumbles. Under a bit of pressure from Vanderweel. She's been impressive today. Tyndall goes wide. Looking for Otto. Had a good effort just before. In enough space. Needs to find a target. Wasn't quite able to find the run of Hurley. Liesi defends well. Depoe. Got it forward. Needs a good bounce. Baker. She's a natural left footer. The tackle was superb. And that's a wonderful full stop on the match from Ange Lingard. Not quite a full stop. The final semicolon. So momentarily, Aspley will move above Bond University in the table. Bond will have, well, they're in action at the moment against Southport. If you want to see some good footy, as soon as this match finishes, well, listen to us talking first, because we say some really intelligent stuff. 4 points to the Aspley Hornets. 9 goals to 4. Clinical in front of goal. Beautiful hand passing around the ground. Maroochydore brave. In the end, Aspley just with that extra class. But congratulations, Morgan Lanigan. Congratulations, Lucia Liesi, Courtney Danietz, Holly O'Flaherty. Go have cake.
You've certainly been pumping up this cake after the game. I'm going to have to get over there and see exactly what it's all about, Daniel. But yeah, look, I think most entertaining moment of the match from more of a humorous side would have to been Lanigan's attempt on goal. It would have been the fairy tale ending. But, you know, all things considered, it was still a really great performance from her today. Now, we always chat about who our best on the field was. And, Daniel, I'm very anxious to hear who you've got. You look like you're still running it through your head because...
I'm just very anxious at the moment because I'm trying to narrow 44 really good players down to 3 at the moment, and I'm finding it almost impossible. But, I mean, you know, anyone listening to the call, we've all seen, if you've just enjoyed the last 80 minutes of football, you almost don't need me to pick out 3 of them because there's just been wonderful performances all over the field. So I'll give myself about 30 seconds or so because we'll need to wrap up soon. But if you've got your 3, you go for it.
I certainly do. Well, look, I'll start with the 3 points today, and that, for me, goes to Aspley's Lucy Thompson up in the fullback. I think she was such a rock in defence for them. You know, we kind of mentioned throughout the broadcast of how much work she does getting ball, but also directing play. And I think she just worked so well with, you know, Morgan Lanigan and also Lingard, Pengelly, just so many different players that were in that mix there. 2 points for me has to go to Kaya Hydes. She was great from the Roos. There were a lot of players from the Roos that had a really good game, but, you know, with the 3 goals, I think that has to be a standout. And then the one point for me, it's probably going to be a bit of a trend that it's just a player who was so entertaining to watch, and that has to be Crozier. She just, every time she touches the ball, it's sort of magical, which I know is a big statement, but you just kind of never know what's happening, and she's just such an athlete. I mean, long arms, the kick is just awesome to watch, and it's so exciting to watch her because you can't stop thinking about how much more she's got to give. So that would have to be the 3 for me, and we'll see. Daniel, have you had enough time now to kind of wrap up yours?
Yes, I have. Look, I have gone for the 1 for Crozier. Yes, she's entertaining, but she does things of substance as well, and you weren't not saying that. It's just that, but yes, for her to have that link, and of course, probably the outstanding goal of the match up in the left-hand side in the first quarter. 2 points, Lily Baker of Maroochydore. I missed seeing her impact last week, and said someone else on air, she was amazing again today, and her work not just to ruck, but also around the ground. And then best on ground, I've gone for Louise Tyson, because her work both at half forward, but also in and around the contest. I think when the game was there to be won, I say this most weeks, but yeah, who had the biggest effect when the game was there to be won? And for me, it was Louise Tyson, particularly throughout that second quarter when Aspley kicked 4 goals to 1.
And you know what? I literally just wrote down her name as someone that I feel like I forgot to mention in my own. But, you know, I mean, there were just so many on today that we could have mentioned. But Tyson, yeah, she's a huge playmaker, and I hate that sporting cliche, but that's what she is. And, you know, she also kicked a goal, a bloody brilliant goal when it mattered too. And, well, that pretty much wraps us up for today. Of course, couple of games going across the rounds. I'm not going to spoil the scores because I hate to be that person that spoils scores before you get to watch the match. But, of course, don't forget to check out all the replays. There she is, 100 gamer, Morgan Lanigan. Nearly got the goal, but she'll still get the chair off. What a game for her.
Couldn't happen to a nicer person. Equally nice maybe, but not nicer.
And of course, yes, our stream is wrapped up, but you can check out all the other matches on the official AFLQ YouTube channel, and the Southport Bond University clash is still live, so definitely make sure you jump on now to that one. Next week, of course, is a bye for the whole Bond University QAFLW, while the Queensland teams head to Hobart to play Tasmania at North Hobart Oval. The women's game starts at 5 to 12. That is 11:55 a.m. So keep an eye out on the AFLQ social media for the live stream details. Daniel Viles, it's been great to have you here today. Hope you've enjoyed this one.
Absolute pleasure, Hannah, and thanks for having me along.
We'll catch you in 2 weeks' time then.